critical. And Professor, I really appreciate your input. Mr. Redmer, thank you for what you're talking about. I'm an automobile dealer. We just went through the new package for our people. It's up over 30%. And the way we were able to keep it at that little bit over 30% was by working with the deductible a little bit. I got to tell you, back home where I'm from, if sustainable means capable of being sustained, here's what I looked it up because I want to make sure we understand. Sustainable is a method of harvesting or using a resource so that that resource is not depleted or permanently damaged. And so when we talk about these programs, and as a private business person, your model has to be sustainable or you're on a fool's errand. You won't be able to stay in business. And so as I listen to your testimony, I'm really interested. I got to tell you a little bit of what happened to me back home. I go to this little restaurant, Natilli's in Butler. Been there for a long time. Cindy is the girl that always waits on me. A year ago, she says, is there something you can do about health insurance? I said, well, what's the problem? And she goes, well, my husband's firm used to include me. Now they're not. I'm shopping right now. My monthly cost is going to be $700 to $800, and my deductible is $10,000, so I can get insurance, but for all intents and purposes, I'm not insured. So having an insurance policy and actually being insured against out-of-pocket, or what it's actually going to be defray for you, there's two different worlds out there. And that's why I appreciate you all being here for, because I hear that in some cases it's down. In Pennsylvania, it is not down. It is going up. But rather than talk in terms, government terms, that are too lofty and often leave people confused and scratching their head and say, you know what, I don't get it, I'll just walk away, because I know the government will, at some point, they'll take care of it all. Professor Chandler, the model that we're on right now is not sustainable, is it? From a business standpoint, the model that we're on right now in the Affordable Care Act, first of all, it's not affordable. In a lot of ways. I'm talking about people who actually have to buy it and pay for it, and then there's others that have to help invest in subsidies in order to make it more affordable for other people. So somebody has an out-of-pocket cost, and nothing is for nothing. Your testimony, I thought, was fascinating because I think you talked in real-world terms about what this means to people. Ms. McPeak, you're the same way. Mr. Redmer, the same way. We're talking about everyday guys and gals that get up in the morning, throw their feet out over the bed, go to work, put a roof over the head of their kids, put food on the table, clothes on their back, prepare for the future, and try to make sure that they're healthy. Every one of you talked in your testimony about a trajectory that is unsustainable. Am I missing something there or not?
In my opinion, Representative, it is very unrealistic to think that this country can afford a situation in which 17% of our GDP goes to health care, and that starts to keep going up and keep going up. It's estimated to go to 23%. Okay? Think about, yes, health care is important, but we can't run businesses, we can't run a society well in which that large a proportion of our GDP is being diverted into health care.
Yeah. See, our state's getting killed with this. Ms. McPeak, Mr. Redmer, if you could.
Thank you for your question. It's an interesting concept of sustainability. You know, certainly what concerns me are the large cost increases for premiums that have been requested in Tennessee. And I will tell you, we as regulators test every one of the assumptions that is included in that rate request. And in fact, the loss experience is there. So when you're considering a rate increase in the 30% range, and you know that that's going to affect people in your state, you really want to see if there's any margin to assess whether or not there's anything you can do to make that less uncomfortable for the residents of our state. The problem is, under our state authority, we have to look at the rates, whether they're unfair, discriminatory, or actually insufficient. And in some instances, with the experience that we have seen that have been filed in with the rate request, even the 30% increases may still be deemed insufficient, and we may need to order increases above those rates in order to protect the financial stability of the company. And in that regard, I don't think those rate increases are sustainable, because those insurers need to stay in business to make good on their promises that they've sold to every resident of our state.
Okay, well, I think you're all here for the same reason. I think we all have the same purpose. The worst thing in your life is to make a promise that you can't keep. And I think that somehow we went so far down the road on this and being affordable and accessible that we really missed the part about it being accessible and truly being affordable. And my worry is the insustainability of the model that we have out there right now. It just doesn't work. The President's right. Do the arithmetic, and you're going to find out it doesn't bode well in the future. So thank you for being here. I appreciate your testimony.
Mr. Lewis.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Again, let me thank each of the witnesses for being here today. You're a good-looking group, beautiful, handsome. Mr. Commissioner, Commissioner Crowder, welcome back, my dear friend and colleague. Again, thank you for being